Welcome to this video, which is all about how you can improve your posture. And I'm going to give you 5 ways in which you can do that. So we find that with our everyday life, we are hunching forward, and it might be because we're sat down looking at phones, reading books, or just sort of slumped into the sofa, perhaps even driving or sitting at a desk. All these things contribute to us losing the strength in our muscles, and that is where we become this becomes our new normal. We shorten these muscles here, and these muscles in our back become quite slack. So the first thing I would say as my 5-point strategy is think about self-awareness. Stand in front of a mirror or take a photo of yourself on the timer. Get into position like I have against a plain wall. And then you want to just sort of stand. You want to take a look and think, I'm over-exaggerating. Is one shoulder down more than the other? Maybe look at your fingertips. Maybe go, oh gosh, I didn't even realize that one of my fingertips is actually lower than the other. So that's our shoulders. If we think about how we actually stand through the hips, we spend quite a lot of time like this. We do want to do that if possible. We want to keep those hips in alignment. And again, use the mirror to help you with that. In terms of our spine, we want to turn sideways on because we want to make sure that going back to the hips, we tuck our tailbone under. So that means a little squeeze through the glutes, pulling in through the belly, and then making sure that we've got a nice alignment down the side from the shoulder to the hip, to the ankle joint. That moves me on to the head. Looking at phones, we tend to come forward quite a lot. We want to make sure that we are standing nice and upright. Now, one of the things that we often mention in Pilates is imagine a piece of string pulling you upwards, and that is a great way of lengthening our spine. However, sometimes our head is forward. Again, I am exaggerating. Great and easy tip to help with that. Take 2 fingers, pop them on your chin, and just push your head back. So you can do a lot of this, lining yourself up against the wall with your heels into the wall, and then just see how far you've actually got to bring your shoulders back and then your head back to the wall. So it's the back of your head. You want to be looking down, you want to be looking straight up. So self-awareness is key. So there are other things that we can do on our plan to help strengthen the muscles. As I was saying, quite often the shoulder muscles become rounded and they therefore shorten here and strengthen at the back. So you want to do lots of exercises to try and improve that. A very easy one without any weights is to just retract through the shoulder blades. We're trying to push them together. You can take that up to another level, which would be using weights in your hands and simply doing the same move. Now you can see I'm hinging at the hip, so my knees are soft. As I retract back, I open the rib cage. If you like using a resistance band, it's very effective in strengthening these muscles. You simply step on it, make sure it's nice and secure, it's under your hips. And then you're doing the same move. You're pulling back, you're trying to get those shoulder blades to pinch together. So those are a couple of options, but you really need to keep with the exercises to improve the strength through the muscles. To try and strengthen the muscles through the hip, you can take it and do some pelvic lifts here. And another way to do that is to get onto the floor and do it in a bridge. So palms down, palms up, it doesn't matter. Keep the shoulders down, keep the head in alignment, and then start to tilt the pelvis up and forth. If you want, you can even add a little bridge lift as you come up to the top. What we're trying to do is strengthen these muscles here so that we understand how we stand up nice and straight. So that would be bringing your hips forward so that your spine is nice and long. Another postural thing we find, especially if we're going to stand against the wall, is that our shoulders need to be away from our ears. Back to the Pilates, one technique, easy technique, inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. The shoulders just drop instantly. This would be a good time to do it in front of the mirror again, just to make sure that one shoulder isn't dropping more than the other. So we want to focus on keeping the shoulders not just back, but also down. So we're trying to find a V shape between our shoulder blades. So to try and get into that, maybe just breathe up all the way to the top. Bring the shoulders up to the ears and then drop them down. And then just try and squeeze those shoulder blades together. So in terms of finding that head position, as I said, 2 fingers pushing back. Now, another way to do it is you could just sit in a nice chair, not sofa. You want to be in something like a dining chair, something that keeps you nice and straight through the spine. And you just want to be pushing back. So the shoulders are now retracted and you want the head to go right back. And another thing you might notice in self-awareness is you might actually have a tilt on your head, one way or the other. Again, I might be exaggerating quite a lot there, but think about lining yourself up, down through your nose, through the center of the body. So back to the self-awareness. So those are our 5 tips. Self-awareness, improving the strength in the shoulders, through the chest and the back, and also in through the legs with the squats, then also the hips through the glutes, all great at strengthening and lengthening the spine, and then working on pushing that head back. Just do a few of these every day. But in everyday life, we might not always have a mirror to check in with, but we might be walking past shop windows. Keep looking, you might realize, oh my goodness, I'm bent right over, I need to stand up straight. Keep checking in, walking past parked cars, not on the road, on the pavement, just looking up and looking ahead. Try not to walk down the road looking down, look forward. So those are my tips to improving your postural strength. You will have to keep working on the muscles. And if you want to follow along with any of my resistance bands workouts, they are great for that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments box below. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully see you on one of the other workouts.